Hello, friends. Imagine returning home from a 2-month visit with your grandchildren, putting your key in the front door, and finding that the locks have been changed. A stranger opens the door and shows you an official county document proving that they bought the house last week. You call the police, but the officer looks at the paperwork and tells you it is a civil matter. Welcome to the devastating reality of deed fraud. Because millions of seniors have completely paid off their mortgages, their homes are sitting like unlocked vaults filled with hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. Scammers do not need to break your windows to rob you. They just forge a single signature, file it at the county courthouse, and legally steal your home right out from under you. If you do not audit your own deed today using the exact free methods the government provides, your life savings could be hijacked by tomorrow morning. I want to be perfectly clear right from the start. This is not a science fiction movie or a scare tactic to sell you a product. Home title theft is a massive documented federal crime tracked by the FBI, and the protective steps we are covering rely entirely on free official county government services. I am also going to reveal the terrifying IRS Phantom Tax Bomb. Later on, I will show you how a scammer stealing your house can actually trigger a massive federal tax audit against you for hundreds of thousands of dollars in fake capital gains. You need to know exactly how to stop that before the letter ever arrives. If you want to protect your wealth, take a second and subscribe right now. The rules of retirement change constantly, and the government will never knock on your door to explain your options or warn you about new threats. Subscribers find out in time to act. Everyone else finds out after the money is already gone. To stop this crime, you have to understand exactly how the theft happens. It all starts with a $25 piece of paper. You might think that transferring the title of a home requires a lawyer, a real estate agent, and a mountain of background checks. It does not. County clerks are administrative recorders, not detectives. If a piece of paper looks properly notarized, their job is simply to file it. A scammer forges your signature on a quitclaim deed or a grant deed. They use a fake notary stamp they bought online, walk into your local courthouse, and pay the county a $25 to $50 recording fee. Just like that, they legally transfer ownership of your house to a fake LLC they control. Let us look at the actual math of how devastating this is. John is 74 years old and owns a home worth $350,000 free and clear. A scammer files a forged quitclaim deed transferring John's house to Global Investments, LLC. The scammer spent exactly $30 on a fake notary stamp and a $25 county filing fee. The total cost to the criminal is exactly $55. For a $55 investment, the scammer wiped out John's legal ownership of a $350,000 asset, 30 years of John's hard-earned mortgage payments, stolen for less than the cost of a tank of gas. You cannot assume someone else is watching your property. You have to check it yourself. Go to your computer today and search for your local county recorder of deeds or county clerk online database. Type in your exact legal name or your property address. Review the transaction history for your property. The last recorded document you see should be your original purchase deed or your final mortgage release from when you paid off the loan. If you see a recent transfer or quitclaim that you did not sign, you have to call the local police and the county district attorney immediately. Now, this threat is highly specific to seniors, and there is a mathematical reason for that. Homes with an active mortgage are much less attractive to scammers. If you still owe the bank, a bank lien is attached to the property, which makes it very difficult for a criminal to extract cash. Scammers specifically target seniors because older Americans are the demographic most likely to have pure, unencumbered equity. You own it 100%. Once the scammer legally owns the paper, they usually do not try to evict you immediately. Instead, they use the house as an ATM. This brings us to the fraudulent home equity line of credit trap. The criminal uses that forged deed to prove ownership to an online out-of-state lender. They take out a massive home equity line of credit, or a cash-out refinance against the equity sitting in your home. They drain the cash, route it into an overseas bank account, and disappear entirely. They leave the massive new mortgage attached directly to your property, and you have no idea it happened. Consider Susan, who is 71 and completely unaware she is the victim of a forged deed. The scammer takes out a $200,000 home equity line of credit against her home, drains the cash, and vanishes. Susan's paid-off home now has a $200,000 lien legally attached to it, At an 8% interest rate, the monthly payment on that fraudulent loan is roughly $1,467. Susan lives on a fixed Social Security check of $1,800 a month. When the scammer stops making payments, the bank initiates foreclosure proceedings against Susan's house. To save her home, Susan must now spend $15,000 in emergency lawyer fees just to stop the bank from taking her property for a debt she never agreed to. You have to change how you handle your daily mail. Meticulously check every envelope that comes to your house. If you receive a letter from a bank you do not do business with, and it says something like congratulations on your new loan or your payment is past due, do not throw it away as junk mail. Open it immediately. If that letter references a loan against your property address, you have been hit by title fraud. Call the fraud department of that specific lending bank immediately and freeze the account. Where you live actually changes how vulnerable you are to this specific drain. Some states require an in-person physical appraisal before a bank will issue a home equity line of credit. That state law often stops the scam cold, because the scammer cannot let an appraiser walk inside the house while you, the actual homeowner, are sitting in the living room watching television. However, automated online lenders frequently use drive-by or algorithm-based appraisals. They look at pictures online and approve the loan. That loophole allows the scammer to drain the equity without ever setting foot on your physical property. Because seniors are terrified of waking up to a massive fraudulent mortgage, massive commercial companies have sprung up on late-night television, offering to sell you a subscription to lock your title. You must not fall for this mathematical trap. You cannot legally lock a public county deed. Commercial services that charge you a monthly fee do not block fraudulent transfers from happening. They are simply monitoring services. The county clerk does not check with a private company before filing a piece of paper. These companies only send you an email after the fraudulent deed has already been filed. You are paying them to tell you that you have already been robbed. Look at the reality of this math. David is 68 years old. He gets scared by a commercial and signs up for a $15 a month title lock subscription. $15 a month is $180 a year. Over a 10-year retirement, David pays $1,800 to this company. When a scammer files a forged deed in year 8, the company does not stop the transaction. They simply send David an email alerting him to the fraud, and then they advise him to hire a lawyer to clean up the mess. David paid $1,800 for an automated email notification that did not prevent the crime. The Federal Trade Commission and several state attorneys general have issued official warnings against the misleading marketing of these services. They explicitly state that the actual title insurance you bought when you originally purchased your home is completely different from these monthly monitoring subscriptions. Here is exactly what you need to do today. Look at your credit card or bank statement for a recurring charge from any commercial title protection company. If you see one, call the company and cancel the subscription immediately. When you get them on the phone, do not let the retention agent scare you into staying. Cancel the service and reallocate that money back into your own pocket where it belongs. Why pay a private company $1,800 when your local government offers the exact same technology for absolutely nothing? The vast majority of United States counties now offer a free automated alert system directly through the county clerk or register of deeds office. When you sign up, the county's own internal computer system will instantly text or email you the exact second any document is filed containing your name or your property's parcel ID. Let us look at how this works in real time. Linda is 72 and lives in Florida. She sets up the free alert with her county. A scammer walks into the courthouse and files a forged deed at 10 o'clock in the morning. Linda's cell phone buzzes at 1 minute past 10. She calls the county clerk immediately, and the clerk freezes the transaction on the spot. Linda then calls the police. The cost of this alert system is $0. The money she saved is her entire $400,000 home. She successfully replicated the $15 a month commercial service for free, and she stopped the scammer before he even left the courthouse parking lot. You can set this up in 5 minutes. Go to Google and type your county name, followed by the words County Clerk Property Fraud Alert. Navigate to the official .gov or .us County website. Enter your legal name exactly as it appears on your current deed, along with your email address or your cell phone number. That is it. The service is 100% free. Now, there is one variation you need to be aware of. If you own property in a tiny rural county that has not modernized its digital records, they may not offer this automated system yet. If you live in one of those counties, you have to be your own alert system. Set a calendar reminder on your phone or write it on your wall calendar to manually search the online public records yourself on the first day of every single month. While strangers forging your name is terrifying, there is a much more common form of deed fraud that happens right at your own kitchen table. This happens when seniors are pressured by their own adult children to sign over the house to hide it from nursing home costs. In a desperate attempt to protect the house from Medicaid estate recovery, an adult child convinces the senior to sign a quitclaim deed transferring the home directly into the child's name. The senior thinks they are just protecting the family asset, legally to just made themselves a renter in their own home. If that adult child gets sued, gets a divorce, or goes bankrupt, the senior's house is seized by the child's creditors, leaving the senior completely homeless. Robert is 75 years old and wants to do the right thing. He quitclaims his $300,000 house to his son, Mark, to protect it. Robert continues living there, paying the bills and maintaining the property. 2 years later, Mark causes a severe car accident and is sued for $1 million. Because Mark legally owns Robert's house, the victim's lawyers place a lien on the $300,000 home and force a sale to pay the judgment. Robert is evicted from the house he paid for over 30 years. Robert's attempt to save $300,000 from the government resulted in an absolute 100% loss of his wealth to a personal injury lawyer. The rules to protect yourself are simple. Never sign a direct quitclaim deed giving your home to your child while you are still living in it. If your child pressures you, refuse to sign anything without an independent elder law attorney present in the room, representing only your interests. If you truly want to protect the home from Medicaid, ask that attorney to set up an irrevocable Medicaid asset protection trust, or ask if your state allows a ladybird deed. In states like Texas, Florida, and Michigan, an enhanced life estate deed, which is commonly called a ladybird deed, allows you to retain absolute ownership and total control of the house until the exact second you die. At that moment, it safely transfers to your child, completely bypassing probate and protecting the home from their personal creditors while you are alive. These legal tools protect the house from the government without exposing your life savings to your child's personal debts. Even if a scammer does not steal the equity while you are alive, a forged deed acts as a ticking time bomb for your children after you pass away. If a scammer successfully files a forged deed but does not take out a loan, you might never know about it. You could pass away peacefully, believing your home is safe. But when your children try to sell the home during probate, the title company discovers the fraudulent deed. The title is what real estate attorneys call clouded. Your children cannot legally sell the house until they prove in civil court that the deed was a forgery, plunging your family into a massive, exhausting legal battle that can wipe out their entire inheritance. Let us look at how that plays out in dollars and cents. Mary passes away, leaving her $400,000 home to her daughter. The daughter tries to list the house for sale, but a title search reveals that a fake LLC technically owns it because of a forged deed filed 5 years ago. The daughter cannot sell the house. She must hire a real estate litigator to file a quiet title action in court. The lawyer charges a $10,000 retainer just to start the case. The court battle takes 14 months to resolve. During those 14 months, the daughter must pay $6,000 in property taxes and maintenance on an empty house. The total financial drain on the inheritance is $16,000, simply to prove a piece of paper was fake. If the scammer actually sold the house to an innocent third-party buyer who had no idea the property was stolen, the situation changes dramatically. The legal battle becomes infinitely more expensive as the court must decide whether the innocent buyer or the rightful heir gets to keep the physical property. To prevent this generational wealth wipeout, you need to act now. Have a transparent conversation with your heirs about your property title. Keep your original stamped deed in a fireproof safe or a bank safety deposit box. Write down the specific title insurance company you used when you originally bought the home, as their policy might help your heirs fight a clouded title in court. But the most terrifying consequence of deed fraud does not come from the scammer, your family, or the bank. It comes from the Internal Revenue Service. This is the IRS Phantom Tax Bomb. If a scammer steals your title and successfully sells your home to a cash buyer for $400,000, the county records that massive real estate transaction under your name and your property address. The IRS computer systems automatically detect a $400,000 real estate sale tied directly to your identity. When you file your taxes the next year and do not report a $400,000 profit, the IRS algorithm triggers a massive audit demanding tens of thousands of dollars in capital gains taxes for money you never received. David's house is stolen and flipped by a scammer for $450,000. David manages to fight the civil battle and gets his house back. But the next April, the IRS sends him a notice of deficiency. The IRS assumes the $450,000 sale was an investment property. They demand long-term capital gains taxes of 15% on the profit. 15% of $450,000 is $67,500. The IRS demands a $67,500 tax payment from David. Because David did not proactively flag his file, he must hire a certified public accountant for $1,500 just to fight the IRS and prove he was a victim of identity theft. Filing a single free IRS form on day one would have saved him from a terrifying $67,500 federal audit. Seniors are normally protected by the Section 121 exemption, which allows $250,000 of tax-free profit on a primary home sale. But because a fraudulent deed transfer is often recorded as a corporate or non-standard sale, the IRS algorithms often bypass this exemption entirely and assess the maximum possible taxes. If you discover deed fraud, do not just call the local police. You must immediately file IRS Form 14039, which is the identity theft affidavit, to flag your federal tax file. Next, file a formal complaint with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. When the IRS automated audit letter arrives, you will have the federal paper trail ready to prove the sale was a criminal act, shutting down the audit instantly. Let us review what we covered today so you can protect your hard-earned equity. We looked at how scammers use a $25 paper Heist to steal a $350,000 home. We exposed how criminals use fraudulent home equity lines of credit to drain $200,000 from unsuspecting victims. We broke down why paying $15 a month for a commercial title lock subscription is a mathematical waste of $1,800 over retirement. We walked through how to set up your county's free property fraud alert system for $0. We uncovered why quitclaiming your home to your children to avoid Medicaid can cause a total loss of your property to a personal injury lawyer. We detailed how a clouded title can drain $16,000 from your heirs in probate court. And finally, we looked at how to use IRS Form 14039 to defuse a $67,500 phantom tax bomb. Your home is the ultimate financial fortress of your retirement, but a paid-off mortgage is a beacon for scammers. By utilizing free county alert systems and refusing to sign predatory quitclaim deeds, you ensure that your greatest asset remains safely in your family's hands.